Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I'm going to give you my summaries today as well as do oracle cards at the end like I've been doing. But I wanted to pull some cards up front asking a question that we never ask. I'm just going to ask for the collective organic twin flame feminines, the divine feminine, what is it that we can do to help along our physical unions, okay? So I've asked other questions before, but never like specifically that way, which makes sense to ask that question. And I was surprised at what I got for myself. So let's see what we get for the collective. This is for the collective organic divine feminine twins. What is it that they can do to help along their physical, harmonious, permanent physical union? What can the divine feminine do, the organic divine feminine twin flames do to help along their physical, harmonious, permanent physical union? What is it that they can do? What can they do to help? Is there anything they can do? Okay, so I got Temperance card, Ace of Cups, and Destiny. Eight of Swords and Three of Pentacles and Four of Wands and King of Cups. And that's it that wants to come out of the bottom. I'm going to take the next three too, just in case for clarifiers. The bottom is the Page of Wands, okay? So that's all about inspiration, being excited, being young again, and physically active, okay? So of course that helps, but this is all about, you know, passion and wanting that passion, right? And underneath the bottom of the deck is the Eight of Wands, so that's more passion. But right now it's about tempering that passion, because that's the underlying energy. There's nothing wrong with that. But, and I can tell you what the answer was for me personally, to give you more guidance to what the answer was for you guys. So part of this was the same as what I got. So you have the Temperance card, so the first three cards, which is the main answer here, okay? You have Patience, Love, and Destiny, okay? So it's telling you, be the angel that you are. As the divine feminine, your divine masculine has some things they still need to work through. So your job during that time is to be an angel, find what works for you, what your passion is, be love, and have faith in your destiny, okay? It's as simple as that. You guys are all making it too hard for yourselves. It's not about finding work to work yourselves to the bone again. We left that behind. We're not here to work our fingers to the bone. We're here to work smarter and happier. So you find your passion, and it doesn't have to be 8 hours a day. It's finding your passion and doing it as much as you love to do it. It's as simple as that. It's not supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be joy. Okay, so don't get yourself all stressed that you're not doing the right thing or that you're not doing things quick enough. Everything's in timing with your divine masculine, who also has things they need to go through, but it's a different, they're coming from a different perspective than you. They're the opposite side of the coin from you. You're the same coin, but you're the opposite sides of the same coin. So you have to deal with different issues than their issues. You come from the two different perspectives to come together. So the reason the Eight of Swords, and these are the other four cards that came up. Okay, so you have the Eight of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, which is the Union card, and the King of Cups. So of course, the Three of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the King of Cups is perfect. It's beautiful. You know, that's union. That's coming together to co-create in union with unconditional love. Okay, but we have this in between. because, and I'm going to tell you why, the Divine Masculine has to know what it's like to have his hands tied, right? Because a lot of the Divine Masculines, even though they have a lot of wounded lineage and may have had issues in their childhood, they also get a lot of things their way. They get a lot of attention. They have to understand what it feels like to not always get their way, you know, and come back into their heart space. They have to learn not to take things for granted. And specifically, what came out within my own was showing, you know, the Divine Masculine has to understand what it's like to be on their own and be sovereign and have to take care of everything themselves, whatever it is in their life, their work, their children, and allow themselves to be bored and to integrate and to ground themselves and to find their own satisfaction before they can be one with you, okay? So it's just different timing for them than the Divine Feminine. It's nothing that you're doing wrong, and I wanted to show you this, okay? These cards are beautiful. You have the Temperance card, the Ace of Cups, and the Destiny card. Just be your angelic self, be love, and Destiny will take care of the rest. You're going to be co-creating after a little bit of restriction in your knowing. And you see she's blind with her hands tied because she doesn't need to see. She's in her knowing, okay? And she can walk through those swords anytime. You're holding yourself back. This is your own head. These are your own thoughts. You hold yourself back from happiness. It doesn't matter if you have a blindfold on or not, because you know the truth. And you can walk through those swords anytime you want. And just go ahead and untie those, whatever's wrapped around you. You choose whether you want to go through this like this or without that. You can just, for the Divine Feminine, I'm telling you, this is all you need to do. This is all you need to do. Take a picture of that. This is what you're being asked to do. Have faith. It's divine timing. Okay? So I'm going to tell you what I got from the reads yesterday and today. And oh, so another message I got personally was that you know, we are grounding and integrating during this time, but in expressing your own journey, like I do here on this blog, not only is your Divine Masculine potentially exposed to that, but also the karmics around the Divine Masculine can either learn from what you're teaching or sharing, but also you are exposing them to learn this information, but you're also exposing them in this information. So they have to transform as well. So it's like a win-win situation for everyone, because everyone has to either raise their, you know, basically get her off the pot, you know. So that's a positive thing. And so that was coming up for my own read as well. So I hope that helps you, okay? Last night I watched a really weird movie called I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. And it was so funny because, you know, I was just talking about the throwing stars that I didn't know what they were called in the martial arts. They use them as weapons. And they do call them throwing stars. But I watched this movie last night, and what do you think they're using? So it was not a martial arts movie. It was a movie. I'm finding whatever I talk about is either in the movie I watch right afterwards or it comes up in my cards the next day. So we're like manifesting like very quickly. In the movie, it was just some suburban neighborhood guy who this girl meets randomly in her neighborhood. And he's this, you know, meek guy whose dog is pooping on her lawn, so she's irritated when she meets him. And he ends up being this, like, you know, really talented star thrower. So I thought that was really funny. So watch what your thoughts are, because you are manifesting. You're manifesting everything. You might want to watch the movies that you wish your life to be, because you're going to manifest that stuff. Okay, so today is August 26, 2018. The 26 is the Page of Wands. So how suiting that the Page of Wands came up as the underlying energy for you guys. The 26 is an 8, so it's about strength, inner and outer strength, and it's also about manifestation. But it's the 6 of the motherly energy, the love, family, and community on the inside of this energy, and then the feminine energy on the outside, the 2, the good mediator. So it's very feminine, actually, even though it's the Page of Wands. In some decks, the page is a feminine energy. It's a you know, the younger girl. I'm just blanking out on what they call it, but I see it usually as a masculine energy in this deck anyway, because it's very fiery and it is a boy in the picture. But it comes out really as a feminine energy in the 26, because both 6 and 2 are very feminine. So then we have the day adding up to 45. And 45 is the 5 of Cups. So it is that feeling sorry for yourself, not wanting to let go, and refusing to see what's right in front of you. That is good. But that's really just a part of the integration period, about letting go to allow the new to come into your life. Okay? Knowing that the universe knows better than you. As soon as you turn around, it's like the relay race, right? As soon as you let go of this and take this, you're already ahead of the game. It's just letting go. It's not difficult, just let go. But we think it is. We think we're letting go of something that's better for us than the universe could ever imagine. And that's just not true. The universe has so much more ability to manifest things that you haven't even thought of before. So allow that, let go. We're at the full moon. It's a perfect time to release anything that you've been resisting releasing. Okay? So today the energy is from the Divine Feminine perspective. And it was the full moon this morning. On the East Coast it was 7:56 a.m. this morning in Pisces. It is a sunny day today. The energy has been good today. But watch it. I mean, as soon as you listen to something, you know, a card read or whatever it is, telling you something that may not be true for your situation, you can manifest it true just by listening to it and having it change your emotions at that moment, which happens to me all the time. So it's really about not watching that stuff. Watch the stuff that makes you feel good. Listen to music that makes you feel good. Okay? So the energy that I came up with today, and the first thing when I did before I put down the cards for the Divine Feminine, or as I was doing some other cards, no one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. That's from the Divine Masculine, okay? And that was actually at 9:11 this morning. So it's kind of like that emergency call. They're calling out to the Divine Feminine. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man behind blue eyes. Okay. So, and the read was a little messy today. Ding. And if you're interested, it was done, the read was completed at 9:13 to 14. I always say 2 numbers, 9:13 to 14, because I'll finish putting out the cards, and then there's certain bottom cards that I arrange in order for contrast, because I get my codes from that. But the major arcana for the Divine Feminine were Alchemy, which is the Temperance card, which just came up for you, Strength, and Solar Deity, which is the Sun. There were 2 swords, 3 wands, 2 cups, and 1 pentacle. So that's pretty well balanced. And the characters, or the court cards, were Page of Swords, King of Cups, and Queen of Wands. And I usually write down the 9 of Pentacles too, because for me, a lot of times the 9 of Pentacles comes up as a character. And certainly in our sovereignty right now, okay? So as far as the coding, I was getting codes again. The 30 lashes had come up yesterday or the day before whenever I did that read about, you know, Jesus and Mary again. We're playing out what happened to Jesus and Mary, okay? So what came up this week was the crucifixion, the Divine Masculine afraid to come toward the Divine Feminine because he was afraid to be crucified, because in the past you know, all of his relationships have led to death because they've been in situations of war, and that was just the way life was. And it wasn't the feminine's fault that he was killed, but there were situations that he was pulled into, as in family, as in competition with the partner, or the partner not being the person for his highest good. So that was his own choice to bring this feminine into his life, those kind of things. So he's just so wounded and blinded by this. He doesn't know which way is up. He doesn't know who to trust. And that's confirmation again. So not only was the 30 lashes coming up, that the Divine Masculine may, you know, be fearing the 30, you know, being whipped, basically, literally, like in a dungeon. So that was coming up, but also in the Holocaust, not the victims now, which I've experienced that because I've seen my past life in the Holocaust, but the Germans involved in the Holocaust may still need to not apologize, but forgive themselves, because I can speak for myself that a lot or all of the people who were involved in the Holocaust have already forgiven them. The people, they're perpetrators, but it's the perpetrators who have not forgiven themselves. So if you carry this in your lineage, you need to bring up being the German, either the you know, the killer, the agent, the double agent, and it doesn't have to be German, it could be anything. But it's being, and I was talking to another twin friend today, and what came up in our conversation about that was the arrogance you get from being the German domineering overseer, you know, that I hold your life in my hands, and that arrogance, and letting go of the arrogance to find your humility. So see where that, you know, those feelings and thoughts take you, to release that. It's a great day to release all that stuff. And the Holy Grail was coming up. The highway to the Holy Grail was coming through this information of releasing this information. Okay, because it's still being held in the little boy inside of all of you, whether you're girls or boys. It's the Divine Masculine energy. And also teas were coming up again. So if any of you who are big tea drinkers, who have been experimenting with shaman teas and other kinds of teas, if you could share your experience with what teas are really helpful for this journey, I'd appreciate it. You can put it in the comments below. Also, I found, I brought up the other day, for anger, and actually I was doing a Reiki session the other day for someone, and as soon as I was feeling into them, the right knee came right up, and I wasn't having any pain in my right knee. So that was coming up again. So for the Divine Masculine, the right knee is still there, and I did work. As soon as I put some energy into the knee, it went away for that person. So it's really important to focus on your right knee to rid any anger, frustration, that kind of stuff on the Divine Masculine side. But also in my energy book, and I forget what it's called. I'll post it in the comments. But to flush out anger real quick, one of the tricks is to put your hands on your thighs, standing up, and just say shh really hard, like shh, you know, to release the anger if you get into a tizzy about something. And then bring your arms up like fists inward, and then pull them down, back down to the thighs with your, and do the shh again, and then your hands again bending down, do that shh, and then back up with your hands on your thighs again, do the shh, and literally visualize pushing down through your work column, and it literally flushed out a lot of the pain that I have in my spine. So give it a try for pain issues. And again, that's from Donna Eden's Energy Medicine book. Okay. So, and I'll put the title of that that one in there. I mean, there's lots. It's a great book because there's lots of pieces you can refer back to. I mean, it just teaches you everything about the different energy systems. So, and these different techniques to use to release different things. And just even tapping to balance yourself. You know, like crossing. When you cross, you're bringing your left and your right side into balance. So when you tap here, you know, with some deep breaths. I think there's 3 thumps, There's 3. This one, the Tarzan one, and then the adrenals are just below in the rib cage down here. You can thump or you can rub, okay, through, you know, a few different deep breaths. And that will rebalance you if you're not feeling well or you're off. So anyway, back to the Divine Feminine. Something that came up as soon as I put some of the codes in was, and I get this often, I don't know why, but I do, video type games, you know, like, and I don't get into any of those games, but there was a specific one I was being shown with 2 characters, and the 2 characters were literally 2 twins I know, and the name of one of them was so close, it was like, you know, it was really uncanny. So I sent them to both of them. They know about it already. But it's really funny how much we're manifesting everything in our environment. And it all had to do with, and it wasn't just a game, it had to do with the Holy Grail. So it was really funny. So what I was getting for the Divine Feminine is right now where we usually pass on our downloads, some of you may be getting stuck with downloads, backing up because you're not, you had to take a break from passing on your downloads. But I was just seeing the Divine Feminine getting backed up with downloads, and maybe wanting to discover your abilities before you come out fully with your abilities. But don't think about it so much. It's like you're kind of learning on your feet. So just give it a try. Don't be afraid of how it comes out. You can always change it as you go. If it doesn't work the first time, then just change it up and try it again. Don't be holding yourself back because you want to be perfect. That's not the way it works. You're supposed to as soon as you're ready and you're you know, you're not in a dark night anymore, to get on your feet and just kind of just put it out there and see what happens. So you've come full circle within your love cycle. You know, if you've been on this journey a while, dropping all your facades, falling to the left, so in error to the left a little bit as opposed to the right. Okay, so staying at 0 point but with erroring to the left if needed. And something that came up too, which was funny actually, and there was no reason for me to see this in the cards. I remembered a time, you know, when you're young, my little brother's a lot younger than me, and I used to like dress him up in my clothes sometimes, you know, but I'm sure he didn't know what was going on. He was like 4 years old at the time. But I have a picture of him in my tutu with tennis balls in the tutu for boobs. So I wondered if my twin felt those kind of situations when I was growing up, of me doing this to my brother, you know, and what he would think of those things, and if he felt what my brother felt in that situation. So that was kind of interesting. And then I talked to my friend. I was talking to my twin flame friend, who I tell you sometimes my twin channels through, and he was trying to channel through today, but you know, she doesn't want to, it's very stressful for her to do that kind of channeling, so she didn't want to, but he did come through a little bit today. So and that was around 10:10 today. Anyway, the syncs are fun to talk to another twin flame friend about, because they're always going on constantly. So the Queen of Cups was coming up as breaking through the crown to the Divine Masculine in meditation. So an exercise I do sometimes, you know, your Divine Masculine has to do his own work, but you can be supportive with love and energy sometimes. Don't give him all your energy, but there's nothing wrong with passing some energy through your cord now and then. So for me, I've told you, I blow through to help him open his crown or keep his crown open in case there's blocks around their crown, you know, so there could be some dark energies or karmics just blocking their crown from being able to connect with their higher selves. And that's the whole block. If they can't connect with their higher selves, they're never going to come into union, right? Which is not your responsibility. It naturally will occur. But if you send some energy, some violet energy to transmute anything that may be blocking their crown, you know, send it through your cord, through them, and up, blasting up through their crown to open it up, to help them keep it open, okay? And see if that helps, and let me know if that works for you. So like I said, your Divine Masculines may be coming forward, some may be messaging, some may actually come in person. I was being seen like two swords hung up on the wall. So kind of like putting all your truths aside, but in alignment together so that you can come together for a moment to talk. Now working toward the drain of the full moon to the new moon, because we're not pushing forward when we're waning from the full moon. It's kind of just like a recovery period. It's that boredom, integrating, and grounding period. So that's that time now. It's a time to choose a path of satisfaction. What's going to make you happy? What are you going to do during your time? Even when you're in union, there's time when you're not with your twin, or there's times where they're doing something, you need to do something. What is it that makes you happy to do? Growing roots up. So it could be growing up as well as working on your roots up. But make sure you ground roots down too when you're working in the etheric realms. And I was getting to today, Saint Sagittarius, or Sagittarius Street. So maybe some big Sagittarian energies, which is the Temperance card, by the way. So, and worth waiting for a satisfied Sagittarius. So Sagittarian energies may especially need to find what makes them satisfied today. Worth waiting for. So somebody might be getting their ass kicked today if they're staying too much to the right or to the masculine. I was getting some people might be having surprise reunions, but some may ask you that if you want to get together, you can't. It has to be a secret. You can't talk about it. Also, intuition was coming up again. Make sure you use your intuition. It's so easy to go into your headspace when all of a sudden your twin's in front of you, right? All this time that you've thought about them. But you need to stay in your heart space using your intuition and not reacting, okay? Not using a whole bunch of words. It's about using your feelings. Feel into it. End the pain and betrayal of gossip. Coming together with a third party. There may be some depression and unhappy family involved with the situation. Someone in an unhappy family after maybe stealing and stashing and finding a way to the light out of the dungeon. After maybe an Aquarian energy was gossiping about the King of Swords. He is greatly burdened by this. The foundation is all about alchemizing after letting go. So bringing together two disparaging parts. And the Divine Masculine needing to let go of their family status. There's a new passion coming up after, it could be after the Divine Masculine rode away from the Divine Feminine. Or it could be from their karmic as well, maybe having been kicked out by their karmic. There's death of avoidance, so they no longer can avoid, okay? And we all know how good they are at avoiding, right? So the challenge is connecting with the truth and needing to learn. And pride was a big thing today for the Divine Feminine, not letting that get in the way. Don't feel like someone can't tell you because you already know. It's about humbling yourself and allowing someone else to teach you as well. You can give your information, but then listen and learn from the other too. Don't just assume you know everything they're going to tell you. Okay? And don't try to cover up your pride. Okay? Allow it. Even if it's uncomfortable at first, still allow it. Just let go and let someone, like it's your kids telling you something that you already know. Allow them to say, because there may be something comes up in what they're saying that you don't know. So, and there's confirmation in the other room. So we talk about pride and arrogance today already anyway, as being a soldier, right, who's got control over somebody else's life. Humbling yourself. When the Knight of Cups meets the Knight of Wands face to face. So there's this energy of friends who want to get going. That's such a great combination, the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups, because they can have so much fun together and they're facing each other. So that's really good energy. But speak from your feelings, not from your head. The truth of burning past experiences, exposing. There may be situations, some of the Divine Masculines might not have any money or job, they might have lost a lot in a divorce or a breakup. Needing to learn And the Divine Masculine needs to put their pride aside as well, to allow the Divine Feminine to teach them something. There needs to be comforting, and there could just be random talk about whatever issues you need to talk about between yourselves. But now, in the moment for the Divine Feminine is strength, the eye of the tiger, the thrill of the fight. Okay? All eyes on the Divine Feminine. Coming up again is the Queen of Pentacles. After so this is the Divine Masculine. With the Divine Masculine, all eyes on the Queen of Pentacles. After having left either healing or a Leo energy, needing strength to heal and forgive, the King of Swords to be a happy family and destiny of good fortune, but the King of Swords still needing to find some peace with an unhappy family. So they're still going to have some, residual issues. It doesn't have to be a family. Some people are not going to have a family, but not, with kids and all that kind of stuff. But whatever your situation is, apply it as needed. So the Queen of Pentacles energy now is the top spot, embracing the King of Wands out in the open while he takes care of wrapping things up at home and reigniting the flame between them. Finally riding in to get and give their wish. Soon, the Divine Feminine, something I discovered too, I was being shown to do. See if you can communicate better with your masculine for the feminine if you cover your right ear. Cover your right ear and see if you're able to communicate with your Divine Masculine. See what you come up with. Okay? I was actually able to hear his heartbeat, and it was beating separately from mine, so that was pretty cool. So I was getting someone out, like maybe outside working in the yard, raking, but maybe near water. Someone in a skirt and boots. So it could be a female, or it could be the Divine Masculine with kids. The Divine Masculine, or the Divine Masculine could be coming in to see the Divine Feminine and see her outside doing something like this. Yes, we know the Divine Masculine could be worried about rejection and coming in to try to talk to the Divine Feminine. But it was like he was being presented as wearing a hat and a torch. So he's covering his crown and he's got his flame in his hand. Opening up to patch things up in a new love, offering to rake leaves or maybe garden for the Divine Feminine. He may have experienced, he's coming out of having other people do his dirty work, so be careful he's not having other people come in and do stuff for him that he should be doing. Or there could be a karmic manipulator still trying to make him do things for them. Or he may be ordered to do something through a karmic, that type of situation. A nasty karmic manipulator. The Divine Feminine, just remember, you are the message. After disconnecting, the Divine Feminine gets back in her heart as the Queen of Cups and gets back in the game. So you become more social as Mars goes direct tomorrow. New love, engagement, keep an open mind, and unrequited love are all coming up around the Divine Feminine. Oh, by the way, the only number that really came up was 1. 1 is the loneliest number. But it was 1, and I told you how much 1 and New Beginnings have been coming up for the Divine Masculine. So 1 was the only number that came up for the Divine Feminine today. And the different times that came up were 10:19, 10:22, 10:23, 10:33, 10:44, 11:01, and 11:11 both came up today. So in continuing, and by the way, both the masculine and the feminine got the same underlying energy today, which was the 7 of Swords. It's the 7 of Orbs in this deck. So around the Divine Feminine is the King of Cups with the blue eyes, right? So that's the sad man behind blue eyes. But he's got the blue eye, one eye on the prize, after being exhausted in a battle, ending pain of betrayal and negative self-talk. The Divine Feminine needs to clear blocks of the Queen of Wands energy, or the karmic energy, working out details with him. So the Divine Feminine has to be okay with the Divine Masculine working things out still with their karmic ex, you know, not feeling jealous, that kind of stuff. So he's going to come to you, you know, feeling guilty and maybe feeling some shame and wounded, and also feeling sexual. So don't cover things with pride. Be real and authentic. I was getting the Page of Pentacles and the Fool in the Tarot Sexual Magic, which is, you know, foolish pride. Don't prevent listening and learning. Not trying to control and not walking away. Everything exposed. New love wish. Putting it out there. So, and I was also getting, as a man, the Divine Feminine needs to realize, for the masculine energy, they've always been used to having to put it out there and get rejected, because that's the man's role, right? It's always been the man's role to ask a girl out. So they've had to live their life like that, as, you know, constantly putting it out there for rejection, right? Where the Divine Feminine would just wait and not get any offers, but she wasn't getting outward rejections all the time. So it's a little bit different in their perspective. But also maybe a drink to relax things for the Divine Masculine and the 5D. Pride, there might be some hang up on looks, or the Queen of Wands exposed. Maybe them giving each other drinks for attention, you know, to soften them up. I was getting the Queen of Wands karmic energy as Leo and Sagittarius energy. I was getting that she exposed him to, she exposed something out to the public, that he's hung up on a woman at a distance, that kind of thing. Or, you know, the 5D relationship and how crazy it is, probably. Someone who has some kind of magic potion, like, so they think that they're spreading rumors that you're casting spells or something like that. The King of Cups, no longer stealing from others to make his uncomfortable emotions go away. He's staying now and working on them. The Knight of Wands candle is now lit. Injustice with intuition and deliberating hangs over his head, but ultimately the Knight of Pentacles wins the race, right? Slow and steady wins the race. Thinking about taking risk with psychic abilities to alchemize communication for Divine Feminine, with the King of Cups coming out of the dark for new passionate connection, being sovereign and independent. Could be a sexy woman, the Divine Feminine, with tiger tendencies and the heart of a lion, fully exposed to the right one, the Knight of Wands. Okay, so that was really nice for the Divine Feminine. And then for the Divine Masculine perspective, that was done at, it was started 11:44 to 45, which was, I wrote down for me because that's exactly what time I was born. At night, though, not during the day. And it was done at 11:55. The numbers, excuse me, the numbers that came up were 55, 6, 5, and 11 for the masculine. The major arcana were guidance, higher self, and justice. There were one sword, 1 cup, 4 wands, and 2 pentacles. And the court cards were Knight of Cups and Knight of Wands. So here again, we have the Knight of Cups and Knight of Wands coming together. So in the Divine Feminine read, it was coming up as the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine coming together. Whereas a lot of times you see that as, like, you know, best friends hanging out. So that's a nice way to look at it. The codes, I'm not sure about. I was getting the age 60 and the age 50 were both coming up. But also just about, it was about love and the Emperor, and also just maybe some personal messages. But also Hawaii was coming up. I don't know if someone's celebrating a 50th or 60th birthday in Hawaii. But it's also showing just those ages as being the height of crystals. Like, so that's, you know, the high time of your life when you find stability. And also I was getting like a message from the Divine Masculine saying that, you know, the older age divided by good genes and height of finances is actually 10 years younger. So for those of you who are older than your Divine Masculine, that was the message. I was also getting to stay again to the left of 0 point. And Hawaii. So for the Divine Masculine, passing on downloads to the twin in secret as third party, and some via a work situation, in which he chooses a path without kids that are draining him possibly. So maybe if someone's splitting up, the kids are going to be living with the mother. Could be both ways, but this is one of the messages. Okay? So, and then I was getting specifically a blonde who marches to her own beat and music, out floating around with bald eagles. Oh, but what, by the way, I wanted to tell you my sand art today because it was really cool. I saw two bald egos. I guess that message was supposed to come through too. Two bald egos and eagles. But I'll have to show you the picture on my sand. I'll do that in a minute. So floating around with bald eagles, slightly to the left of 0, bridging us as the Divine Feminine is calling out to others to action and announcing release of emotions and karmics taking this information willingly. So you're going to see more and more people opening up to you. The separation is out to the world, so Divine Masculines may be separating, focusing on one sore spot. Divided, we fall. So stuck, with the Divine Masculine realizing that they're stuck when they're not with their twin. That their past returns for judgment, basically. For the Divine Masculine, let friends help. And I was getting a little spaciness before that, so the Divine Masculine might be spacing out a bit. Someone stealing energy and separation. Cupid overseeing that the Divine Masculine keeps one foot on the floor during burning the past phase and growing together. And that the Divine Masculine needs self-discipline. And let your friends help. And then I got Ben, the two of us need look no more. We both found what we've been looking for. Okay? So that was really, the rest of the words are, with a friend to call my own, I'll never be alone. Okay? So this is from the Divine Masculine. And if you've never seen that, you have to see that. That was really touching, actually. 2 candles, webs, and lots of money. 1 pillar and a thick bridge between them. Floating around in space, levitating as Emperor. The Emperor takes a risk to offer love after sudden separation, announcing divorce and returning to the past. Union after patching things up, having faith and manifesting. Centrally, so it depends if you're married or not. It doesn't have to be a marriage, but it's just the Hierophant's coming up. So centrally, the Divine Masculine might be thinking about getting married. After betrayal, or there could be a scam as well that you just went through, left with nothing and injured and brokenhearted, challenged by working with a karmic partner still, who they may not want to work with unhappy family at work. It's showing that like the karmic had other options for work suddenly. All of a sudden they can leave the Divine Masculine space, setting him free. Now, and the number 250 came up. I don't know why, but if that resonates with someone, let me know. I was getting conflict of an older Divine Masculine, twin flame in the hot sun with the Queen of Pentacles reversed, so maybe a little ungrounded, but free, looking back at weakness and coming together, dropping the routine for the Emperor. So the Emperor needing to drop his usual grind, basically. So the Page of Cups, love, which is very innocent and angelic and patient connection with the Empress, who is free. The Divine Masculine now looks forward to big love, journeying to reignite the flame. Soon the higher self connection becomes good after impatience with Virgo's light. Impatience, so the connection becomes good before the Divine Masculine having been impatient with the Divine Feminine's light. and stuff that she was shedding light on in her upside down world. The Divine Masculine seeing himself as justice, which is truth and balance, after a bad turn or a lie, now letting go of past wounds. The cards that came up were honeymoon, attraction, reconciliation, and you deserve love for the Divine Masculine. Around him, attention of his flame, confessing he wants a new life, with the Queen of Pentacles reversed, even if she is a little bit ungrounded right now. Clearing blocks of having to be the Knight of Wands, for the Empress reversed, looking back at the King of Cups and immature communication, trying to manifest or manipulate. So the Knight of Wands, you know, the Divine Masculine might be worried he has to be, you know, this Casanova Knight of Wands for the Divine Feminine, in the way he was treated before in other relationships and karmic relationships. Okay, because of manipulation and that kind of thing. So environment was coming up, and patience. Be patient with the environment, and also pay attention to what your environment is. How much time are you spending out in nature? Okay, so he's balancing his 5D world. I was getting a Virgo energy or a hermit type energy, left out in the cold, in a cold cave surrounded by stalkers. So the Divine Masculine may be seeing his Divine Feminine as left unattended, basically, with guilty type people walking by and wealthy family, master manifestors in the 5D. So the Divine Masculine might be seeing other people who he thinks have it made, that they have, maybe they look really stable to him, that kind of thing. He's still feeling inside his bat cave, his heart, but it's like warm where the Divine Masculine is, whereas the Divine Feminine was being shown in a cold cave. The Divine Masculine's in the bat cave, but it's warm there. Rising above ego and ties and lies, coming together as the Divine Masculine and Feminine as the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Cups, both in your caves. So one's in your cold cave, one's in your warm cave, but coming together as like little kids. Risk of union after divorce, attention of the Knight of Cups, married to his work possibly, and the High Priestess, secret passion, is conflicted by coldness, having been left behind, and what to do now. Okay, so this was coming up for the Divine Masculine. And I'm going to pull some oracle cards for you as well. Also, partners in crime came up. Yeah, and the number 77. All right, so now I'm going to pull some oracle cards. Let's see, we have the Ascension deck. This is for both the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine Twin Flames. For the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine Twin Flames. What is the advice for the organic Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine Twin Flames? What is the... Okay. We have the Sphinx, and the bottom of the deck is the Mahatma energy, which is number 6, which is love. Okay, and this one just says the affirmation, I invoke the Mahatma energy to flow through me. And that has to do with the Christ Buddha light and the 12 rays, and high frequency into group consciousness, to draw from the sacred pool of energy. The Sphinx is number 20, which is judgment. It's the 0 of the God energy on the inside, and coming off as the feminine energy on the outside for 2. The Sphinx energy has always been on Earth and watches over us. The High Priest Ra brought it from Atlantis and placed it within the statue of the Sphinx in Egypt. You receive a charge of God force when you think about it, so relax and accept it now. The Sphinx contains the 5th dimensional records for Earth and the information within the crystal skulls. You're invited to visit the tunnel from the Sphinx to Hollow Earth, a portal of wisdom linked to the ascended aspect of Mars, which is going direct tomorrow. From here, you can radiate peace and oneness throughout the universe. And the affirmation is, I connect to the God force within the Sphinx. I didn't show you the card, okay. That's the Sphinx. Okay. So, and actually it's been coming up that I would like to visit Egypt. I haven't been there yet. Okay, so this is also from the past life deck for the organic Divine Masculine and Divine Feminines. The past life deck. What is the advice for the organic, divine masculine, and divine feminine? What is the advice? What is the advice? What is the advice? Okay. We actually have two here. The bottom is wisdom, the unicorn, purity and wisdom. It's very white. The cards that came out are male, female, and transportation. So these are the cards. Okay. So it is all about pride, you know. The male, female are back to back right here. You know, it's about turning around and looking at each other and communicating. But I like this too, because there's been advice out there too to sit back to back to align your energies before you start talking for the day, like if you come home from work. And that was what's his name, from Golden Ray, that when you come home from work, to align your energies by sitting back to back for 5 minutes before you start communicating. So male, female, work things out, turn around and look each other in the eyes. The eyes are a very powerful connection. Okay. And then transportation, we have a train. Okay. And a bridge, right? So the train just crossed the bridge. So we've come over the bridge, it's the end. That's really good. It's like the 5D portal. The divine masculine has come from the 3D, so, you know, because we're closing down the 3D to the 4D, so there's no need for a 3D gatekeeper anymore, right? If we're closing down the third dimension, so then the divine masculine gets pushed into the bridge and is forced to come to the 5D to meet his divine feminine. By plane, by train, by whatever works. And I'm looking at the tracks. Someone might be trying to cover up their tracks. Could also be IV tracks. I'm also getting oh, someone in the snow with the big snow what are they called? Not boots, the you know, when you're tracking in the snow, the webbed attachments to your shoes that you wear on snow. I'm sorry, I'm terrible about this with labels and stuff. I can't remember anything anymore. But anyway, that's what I'm getting from this. So don't let pride keep you apart. Male, female. See each other's perspectives. Be open to hear each other out. And also, you know, what is about a train? It's very connected. It's got lots of pieces, right? To make it whole. So they can transport a lot of different pieces all at once. Allow the connections to happen. Sometimes the train, and I was talking about this with someone too, not in the relationship to a train, but sometimes there's a reason to come together and then come apart again. Okay, just like a train. You're transporting a certain product. When you get to the next station, that section of the train might get detached to attach something new. Okay, so you may be going through something similar within your twin journey as far as attaching and detaching with people. So allow all of that. It's just part of the process. Okay, so then the journey of love. Journey of love. Okay, what is the advice for the organic divine masculine, organic divine feminine twin flames? What is the advice? And we have man of the earth, woman of the sky. Bottom is 18 distant shores. Okay. And then, and 18 is the moon, so how perfect for the full moon today. And the card that got pulled is number 48. which is a 3 of expression, but it's kind of it's a more tempered 3. Most 3s are really social and happy-go-lucky, that type of thing, and 48 is probably the most serious of them all. And that is the 8 of Cups, which is walking away or going within. But it's the 8 of inner strength on the inside, being strong, and then being responsible on the outside. So it seems very structured, but it comes off as a 3, someone who's very joyful, because they have everything else in check. When you have everything else under control, you leave yourself free to enjoy yourself afterward. Okay? So to stay organized, that helps. Man of the earth, woman of the sky. So it's, the mix of the man and the woman, the logic and the emotional. It's a really pretty mix of colors too. It's very, there's like teal in the middle of the emerald green, and the magenta's coming together, and then a big swirl of yellow like the sun. And it's like a random person kind of mixed. Maybe it's 2 people mixed together walking into the sun, walking into the vortex. It's number 48. I'm going to read that. Man of the earth, woman of the sky. I see myself in you, and you in me. We may seem to be so different, and sometimes yet so familiar. Even beyond this, I know deep within that we are one. I can lose myself in your light, and I receive your light with my body. I can witness the darkness of your shadow and enter into it with my compassion. I can find the divine in our connection, letting go of what I thought I was. I can be broken apart to become as one with you, even if only for a second, and know the divine more intimately than ever before. Our passion leads us to each other, and in each other we find our true selves. Spirit's connecting. This oracle brings you a message of sacred relationship that leads to divine understanding and experience. You are being opened up to a sacred relationship, either in your current relationship or one that is on its way to you now, in human relationship and in divine relationship with the heavenly beloved. Know you are worthy of it, and keep a light of gentle hope and respect kindling in your heart as you anticipate the union with your beloved. Know that even when it's dark, when it challenges you, there is sacredness unfolding. The love of the divine wants to reach us, not only in our happiness, but also perhaps more so in our darkest hour. Let it reach for you through your relatedness with another, and do not be afraid to be broken or opened, for in that cracking of what you thought you were, you shall begin to know what you are, which is heaven on earth. And the poem reads, how rare to be born with a name of love, the challenges await that I must face, or voice to listen to from above, telling what I must embrace. Each day I walk a path unknown, with no regrets for where I've been. Each experience is mine to own. No choices call to live again. How strong I am, I ask myself. The measured test unfolds each day. A blessing of enormous wealth inside the gift will always lay. Okay? So just know, it's all about the journey. Journey of love. So no matter what happens, it's always a gift. There's always something to learn from the situation. And don't get down on yourself about being wrong. It's part of the journey. Okay? So I think that was a really nice message. So don't forget you're at the full moon. It's time to release, release, release. Okay, it's kind of like a grounding and integration period. So you might get a little bored because you're not pushed forward until a new moon. But again, Mars goes direct to Mars. So you might be maybe a little push and pull feeling because you're being pushed by Mars, but you're not quite ready to go yet. So let's see what happens this week. In the meantime, make sure you drink enough water, get some sun and out in the green, and meditate and take care of yourself. Do something nice for yourself. Have some fun. Okay? Enjoy the summer while it's still here. Okay? Rise and be loved, guys. Have a great day and a great week. Bye. Hi guys, I forgot I was going to show you the sand art. I'm just going to show you a few pictures. If you can see the two bald eagles here, see them across the top? One, and then over here, two. Okay. They're looking in that certain direction. And then I also saw some other animals in here. I know I saw elephants at the end, and I'm getting Niagara Falls again. I was researching a little bit yesterday to try to figure out some connections, but I'm getting Niagara Falls again for some reason. I was getting hippos and alligators or crocodiles. And then there's like a herd of hippos. I don't know what their group name is, but yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, I'm actually seeing a dog treading water, like keeping their head above water. So a dog doing that, and seeing crocodiles and seeing hippos, a bunch of hippos. And then I also see like someone is lying down, you know, really at one with whatever they're lying on, you know, just kind of like becoming one with their bed, face down. And I was also seeing, if I can find that one. Seeing the elephants. I don't know where it was. Lots of there may be some more erupting as well. And I also saw a woman laying back. I think it was with the elephants, but I'm not finding it right at the moment. And also, again, mothers feeding their babies. There's also getting like some kind of entity, again, like what I said, there was entities around a volcano kind of poking at it to get it to erupt. Same kind of energy, maybe around a volcano. And I was getting the crater as well, again. Yeah. So again, hippos and crocodiles and dogs and elephants. So lots of animals and Niagara Falls. Okay? Alright. See ya. Rise and be loved, guys.